Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. I'm the Curator of Exhibits at Ketchikan Museums. Welcome to the Tongass Historical Museum. And this is our exhibit History Afloat, which opened in March 2025. We're here with photographer Brooke Ratzat. Brooke, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you are?
Yeah, I'm Brooke Ratzat, and I've lived in Southeast Alaska my whole life, mostly here in Ketchikan. I've been lucky enough to work in the fishing industry as well as throughout Fish and Game, Sarah, and my parents had an aluminum shop where I got to learn those skills, and my husband and I took it over not too long ago, Homestead Skiffs.
How did you get into photography?
Yeah, so my uncle was a photographer, and he was very influential to me. He was Paul Paris. He lived in Hollywood and took crazy wild pictures, but then also celebrities throughout. And so it instilled in me that interest and want in photography and creativity in general. And then of course I was a skateboarder in the 90s, and we were all taking pictures of each other doing that sort of thing. And then it just grew from there, the things that I was interested in. I just really wanted a camera with me to capture and share those moments.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how did this, there was 2 projects that we worked with you on. How did the whole project get started?
I have had a love for wooden boats forever. I grew up on a boat here in Bar Harbor, and there's just something very romantic about wooden boats. And then we were able to fish off and own a couple of them over time. And I've just always been in love with them and wanted to figure out how I could turn that love into some kind of project. And I was here doing something else with the museum staff, and I said, hey, if you ever want somebody to take pictures of old wooden boats, I'm your girl. I would absolutely love to do that. And that was just like a quick spark, and we figured it out, and we were able to put together this first exhibit, or the first project, which was History Afloat wooden boats. And they were all commercial fishing vessels throughout the industry, so everything from tenders to trawlers to gill netters. And I was able to interview 11 people and take pictures of their vessels, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And what about the second project that we worked with you on?
Yeah, so then that ended up being a grant with a focus on the working waterfront. And so I was able to interview people throughout Ketchikan, Metlakatla, Prince of Wales, including Craig, Klawock, and Kasan. And those people wasn't necessarily connected to a vessel. A lot of times it was, but it was everything from doing tourism to salvage work with the Alaska Salver. And then over on Prince of Wales, I was able to interview people that were involved in carving and some food work. And yeah, so it ended up being pretty diverse and awesome.
The projects that we worked with Brooke on, we ended up adding those interviews and photos into our collection. We have over 2,000 photos from these 2 projects, and I think over 25 hours of interviews. So after Brooke completed the project in 2024, we wanted to really highlight the work that she had done and the aspect that the museum is always actively collecting, and we wanted to share the history of our community, especially the contemporary history of our community on the waterfront. So it was actually really exciting to partner with you to curate this exhibit. We started off first with paring down the 2,000 photos. Brooke and I met, and we both had about 400 photos that we sat down and looked through and pared that down to about 400, I think, in our first meeting.
Yeah.
And then our second meeting progressively pared down, picked out some of our highlights, things that had to be in the exhibit.
Yeah.
And I think we got down to about 200. And then once we did that, I think our third meeting was our final one, and it was about 100 photos. I think in this exhibit we have about 60 photos. All of our Brooke's interviews and photos are available online as virtual exhibits at ketchikanmuseums.org. And you can check those out, listen to those interviews. But this exhibit really is just a curated sample of the full project.
Yeah. So I had never worked with a museum before, and I learned so much. My brain expanded over these few years, especially when it comes to history and understanding. For me, the biggest concept was just how we have to capture now for tomorrow's history. And that was something that just kind of over and over blew my mind. And having these conversations with fishermen where they want to talk about the past, which of course is immensely interesting, but we want to know, the museum wants to know what's happening now and how the past informs what you're doing now and what that looks like for the future. And that was so exciting. And then getting to work with you on this exhibit and putting things together, so much of what I do with photography is all in the digital world, and getting to think about what it's going to actually look like on walls and what those colors are going to look like, and the feeling of this space was all just a really wonderful experience to work with you on. And then of course our 800 of our most favorite images and that like giant hurdle that we had to figure out, and it was a really fun, sometimes painful challenge to get through, and yeah, you were very patient with me and my a few of my very artistic quirks, but we made it work for sure.
It was a good collaboration.
Yeah.
So we're standing in front of a very large image.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about who this is and why you selected this photo as one of our title wall photos?
Yeah, absolutely. So the vessel that he is on is the Audi. And this is Eric Johansson. His father is Otto Johansson. Otto built the vessel between 1968 and 1973 was the launch of it. It's a gill netter. Gill netters are more difficult to find in wood because it's a fishery that I believe that happened a little bit later. So I was able to find 2 gill netters, and this was one of them. And actually, I didn't find this. I got a call from Haley Chambers, who I worked with on the first set of images. And she said, hey, if you can go and interview Eric right now, he is ready to talk to you. He has a great story. And when I showed up to interview him, this was the last day that the Audi was going to be in this slip. So in 1973, they launched the boat, it went into this slip, and it stayed there until the day I did this interview. Afterwards, they left and moved the boat over to Prince of Wales, where it is now. So I had an excellent interview with Eric, and it was, just really fun to go from not knowing him or his story or anything about the boat to hours later knowing him and his family history, which was excellent. And then we interviewed Otto later, who I believe he just turned 100 years old. So just amazing person to get to speak to and learn from. So, and this image in particular, I think just the way that Eric is taking a look at me was just great. Talking about photography as an art is sometimes difficult. Like, what is it that's special about this picture? And I think for me and what I do, a lot of it is about feeling. When I did the interviews, I tried my best to interview first, take the pictures later, because I really wanted the interview to inform the images that I took. And so we really worked on that throughout to think about if somebody was involved in the industry and they saw an image and thought, oh, that reminds me, that brings me home in a certain way. And through that specificity, I feel like people that aren't connected will be brought into a connection with that. And when we look at these images of hands, you get that same sort of idea that what is being done is so personable. And like these hands, we'll talk about Greg Updike later, but he's a diver, and you can just see the salt water seeping through his hands in this image. And yeah, so I think those aspects were really important to what we did.
I really like that throughout your photography in these two projects, the human element really shines through, whether that's through hands of the tools that you're working with, or modifying different aspects of tools and equipment to really fit your needs.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that we wanted to have a project documenting historic wooden boats is because we're not seeing them on the waterfront as often as we used to.
Yeah.
And part of that is deterioration and maintenance.
Yeah.
And I think the Nevada is a really good example of that.
Yeah, exactly. So, that was a big part of why I wanted to document these boats. So a lot of these vessels are 100+ years old. I don't remember, the Nevada I think it was built in the 40s, it's a trawler, but many of these are in the 1920, 1921 timeline. And when you have an industry that is, that we're able to work with fiberglass and metal boats in a higher capacity, so you're making more money on those boats than you are on the wooden boats that require just an incredible amount of effort to keep them up and to keep them floating. We're just seeing them start to fade into the soil of Southeast Alaska. So the Rio Grande, which is another vessel, a seiner that I was able to photograph, she is now gone. And the Nevada is definitely on her way, unfortunately. Yeah.
You were able with your photography to really highlight the craftsmanship of these boats.
Yeah.
And these photos in particular, the lines of the boat are so elegant.
Yeah, there's, for me, what I said before, there's just so much romance in these boats, just to look at every piece of them and see that they're carved, they're steamed, they're, all of these, the caulking put in them. It's just like so much care and love into each vessel. And then as a whole, you have a boat that's not only seaworthy and strong and does its job well, but looks real good doing it. And that was, just such an important part of the history of these boats. I'm sure there are some, but there are not a lot of ugly wooden boats. There are plenty as time has gone on, but these are boats that have a lot of romance in them as well. And then of course you just look at them and see the layers and layers of paint. So over time, just all of the love that has had to go into them each season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So behind you, we have an interesting photo, and this is your interview from Dave Hashigan.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about this one in particular and why we chose it?
So here's Dave, and his vessel is the Voyager. It's another gill netter. And when we talk about adjusting things to fit the fishermen, to fit the work, these are great examples. Of course, there's really nothing more classic to Southeast Alaska than a pair of extra tufts that have been modified to fit you and your lifestyle. So of course, Dave is always painting his boat all these sort of wild colors, and you can see that in this. And then up here, these are, we call them fish clickers. They're used to count fish. So he's probably counting his cohos and his chums, or his pinks and if he's getting pinks, he's also getting silvers at the same time. Anyway, so the two different kinds of fish that are coming in off of the gill net. And what I just thought was kind of fun about this image is this green that you see here is really, you only get this color when there's been fish blood there. So this is sort of the result of fish blood being on that metal. So something that I'm very familiar with as well.
and definitely used.
Definitely used, definitely loved. So yeah, the Voyager definitely had a lot of that comfort piece
Absolutely.
to it, yeah.
The photo above here,
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that and why that spoke to you when we were putting this exhibit together?
Absolutely. So this is the Johnny B. She's a seiner. She's built in 1924, I believe. But the seinet here is just full of red jelly. So when you're seining, you're often picking up everything around those salmon. And so it's a really common situation to be just rained on by red jellyfish. And of course, red jellyfish are going to sting the heck out of you. And so if you are piling the net, you're very likely to, if you've done that in your past and you see this image, it's going to give you a little bit of a shiver because you know what that sting feels like.
You had mentioned that often fishermen piling the net are wearing full rain gear.
Yeah, even on a sunny day, full rain gear, hood up. I've heard that you get used to it over time. I haven't seined myself, but I've heard that after the beginning of the season, you're just not really as affected by it anymore. Or maybe you're just numb to all feelings.
I don't want to get there. It seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure.
So behind you, we have a portrait grid.
Yeah.
And this was a really unique aspect that we wanted to include in this exhibit. We are able to highlight every person that was interviewed, and we have it playing on a loop that you can hear sections of their interviews playing in the exhibit space.
Yeah.
And we were able to work with KPU on this to actually execute this because I had the idea, did not have the technical skills to actually do this.
Yeah.
But this was something that I think has been really rewarding for visitors when they come in to not only see the individuals, but then as they're speaking, it highlights their portraits.
Yeah.
And this was something that was really important to you as well.
Yeah, you know, when we were going through those 2,000 images, I was like, I just really want to highlight everyone has put in so much to be part of this, and my level of appreciation to everybody who has volunteered to give me their time and let me sit in their galley and have these conversations was just so meaningful to me. And the idea that somebody that I spoke to was not represented in this exhibit was something hard for me. So when Ryan came up with this idea of having all of the images and then also to have that voice piece, because that was just so important to what we did, was just so cool. So like each, a snippet from each person, you get to hear their voice here is just amazing. And then KPU did this magic that the image will light up. I think Umeko is lit up here right now. So when they're speaking, it's lit up. So you're able to connect that voice to that person. So that was
And if it was challenging to get 2,000 photos to about 60, going from 25 plus hours of interviews to about 10 minutes was really difficult.
Yes.
Luckily, we had some help with Braxton. He went through your interview notes and was able to pull out different stories and aspects that he thought would be really cogent for this exhibit.
Yeah, you guys did a great job, and I was very happy that it was not me doing that piece of it.
But it turned out really beautiful.
Yes, absolutely.
And then over here, as we are moving further into the exhibit, we're highlighting the Alaska commercial divers and Karen and Greg Updike.
Yeah.
You want to tell me a little bit about their interview and why we decided to highlight this?
Yeah. What has been really cool and satisfying for me is just because I've been involved in this community and these industries for so long, I have had a chance to interview people that I know well. And Karen and Greg are two of just gorgeous people in Southeast Alaska, in Southeast and in Ketchikan in particular, and in my life. So I was really glad to get to know so much more about what they do on this great vessel, the Alaskan Salver. So they go throughout Southeast Alaska doing all kinds of different work. And in this image, you can see that they're working on a cruise ship, probably taking a look at something or doing a little bit of underwater welding. And repairing pilings, and the list just goes on and on. They've been doing this for 25 years. So one of the things that was really exciting about getting to get onto this boat is that I got to see the hyperbolic chamber for the first time that they have down below. And so if someone gets what we call the bends, they can go into this chamber and decompress over time. So having the bends is a really scary, horrible thing, but this can bring somebody back from that experience safely. I went ahead and had the opportunity to go ahead and crawl into there. I'm not a big fan of tight spaces, but what really struck me is how comfortable they made it for someone in such a scary position to get to feel a little bit more relaxed. They have books in there and cozy blankets, and yeah.
Really that human element. And in his interview too, Greg mentions that this is really the heart of the boat.
Yeah.
It is literally in the center of the boat, and they can't operate without something like this. Because if you're working in high pressure, being able to do this so that you can get back down underwater and finish the job is extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was very trusting of me to get in there with them on the other side. And then of course this is what they put on to do the work and communicate from the water to aboard the vessels.
The cord that you have wrapped around here is called their umbilical cord, and like you said, it's communication. That's power to the lights. That's power to the cutting and welding torches. So it's aptly named because that is their connection to the surface.
Amazing, yeah. And a lot of what they spoke about was how they have redundancy all over. So they have more of what they need on board the boat. They have it packed away at the cannery in Ward Cove, and you always have to have an extra when you live in Southeast Alaska, because it's not like you get to walk down to the umbilical store and get another one.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have another large image on the wall here. This is the second one of this large size, and you really wanted this image in the exhibit. Can you explain what vessel this is and why you have such a closeness to it?
Yeah, I just spoke about how Greg and Karen are, important to me and my family. This boat, we talk about the romance of a boat. I am very much in love with the Allsec, which is a tiny bit ridiculous, but this boat just to me represents the pure beauty of a Southeast seiner. So we got the opportunity to take the boat out, do a little job with John in Neats Bay. So we spent maybe 5 hours aboard her, and so it was really fun to get to, bounce all around a boat that I've been so in love with for a lot of years. And I've gotten to know John through soccer. He was my son's coach. And so he invited Tosh to come along too and work the nets. So you can see him there. So, and then when you take a look at these smaller images on the Allsec, it really brings you into the idea that not only are these working vessels, but they're homes. And they're not just homes for 1 or 2 people. On a seiner, you have 4 or 5 people living on a 60-foot vessel. So, you need your bowls and you need your kitchen, and of course you need somewhere to go to the bathroom. So the head on this boat and many fishing boats is both a shower and a toilet at the same time. So here's the water heater, here's the actual head, and you would just hang out right here to take a shower if you get one during the season.
And a really tight spot.
Yeah. But really lucky that it's not a bucket, which is pretty common. Yeah, so the experience on the Allsec was something that meant a lot to me, getting to do this. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So as we're moving over to another area of the exhibit, I just wanted to highlight the exhibit cases that we have here, specifically the legs on these exhibit cases. These were fabricated by Brooke and your husband Charlie at Homestead Skiffs. Do you want to maybe mention why we asked this and why we thought it'd be great to include aluminum in the exhibit?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've just talked a lot about wood, but getting to grow up in an aluminum shop, I was able to sort of see how aluminum hits so many different aspects of the fishing industry and the water here. So the ramp that you walk down onto the harbor on is going to be an aluminum ramp. The fish holds are aluminum, the ladders to get in and out of the water when you're diving. And then of course, even the troll poles to catch the salmon. And then eventually all of that's going to oftentimes go into an aluminum can at the cannery.
Yes.
So aluminum definitely winds its way through everything. And also the hatchery systems are often.
Absolutely, the raceways.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was exciting to be able to include this, have some sleek legs in here too, and really reference how aluminum rules our waterfront.
Yeah, so yeah, I did all the cuts and Charlie welded it together for us.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice to have a personal touch in here too. Over here, we're highlighting Whitney Crittenden with Alaska Department of Fish and Game.
Yes.
And you were able to actually go out on the Kestrel and see them do their job.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Whitney has a expansive job. So she's working with salmon, she's working with the dive fisheries, she's working with herring. So her job changes constantly through the year. In this case, she was doing dive research, so it was cucumbers, I believe, that she was looking at in this case. And so the Kestrel moves throughout Southeast Alaska, and it is the platform for doing all of this research. So it's a fish and game vessel, a platform for doing research throughout Southeast Alaska. And so I got to climb aboard the Kestrel and see this amazing research vessel and how they do all of their work. And then alongside, they have these two skiffs that they're able to launch and then go over to the grounds and do their work and bring it back up. So yeah, just a really fun day on the water. Yeah, afterwards, we went and caught some cohos, so it was a great day.
Nice. Yeah. It looks like a beautiful day. And one thing that stands out is Whitney, when she's diving, her gear has these pink accents to really show some of her personality when most of the gear is just black. So we've also included the fins and her pink mask in the exhibit here as well.
Yeah, that was a really kind thing for her to let us display where her signature pink fins and mask. Yeah.
So as we're moving on, we also have Craig Thomas.
Yeah.
And then we have some bottles that he's found while diving.
Yeah, so Craig has worked in the industry since 1993 as a diver, sort of at the beginnings of this industry. And throughout that time, he has seen Southeast Alaska from the bottom of the ocean, which is a viewpoint that very few of us have the opportunity to have. And as he's done that, he's gotten to pick up some of the history of Southeast through these bottles. And I know you got to go see the whole collection. I'm sure it's immense.
Yes.
And so he was able to loan us these really cool bottles.
A couple pieces that I think are really exciting are these smaller bottles here that have clams inside them. So as babies, the little seeds were inside and then grew up inside these bottles, which is really cool.
Amazing.
It's like a ship in a bottle.
Yeah. Clam in a bottle.
Clam in a bottle. And over here we have Stormy. Stormy's over in Kisan on Prince of Wales.
Yeah.
And part of this project, like you had mentioned, is traveling to other communities because it's not just Ketchikan that has a working waterfront, that we're really connected by the water.
Yeah.
It's our highway.
Right.
So highlighting communities on Prince of Wales was an important aspect of this project.
Absolutely. So I got to go to Kisan, Kilwauke, and Craig while I was over there, and got to meet Stormy and learn about his just incredibly important projects that he's doing. He's conducting this like really in-depth and intense research into dugout canoe building. And a lot of that research is doing it himself, and not just him, but other people learning from what he's doing and his family as well. And so it was really cool to get to meet his daughter and granddaughter, who was climbing all over everything. And I got to go into the shed and just learn about this incredible project. This is a 30-foot canoe. It's the biggest one built in Ketchikan of this type for 100 years. So something just to be so proud of. And they're taking these boats and taking them on journeys throughout Southeast Alaska. So
I believe
such a revitalization.
after this canoe was carved, they paddled it on the Journey to Celebration.
Yeah, in Juneau. Yeah.
Really cool. Next to that, we have a feature of lighthouse excursions.
Yeah, so this is our one interview that we did that really highlighted tourism here in Southeast, which of course is an immense industry, but why we chose Rebecca Esbjornson and Jeff Carlson's operation is what they are able to do with their tour. They go out from Ward Cove to Guard Island Lighthouse, and along the way they tell the history of Ketchikan in a way that you would hear from a local. So as a local going out on this, and everyone else that I've talked to, there's just really a joy in how Ketchikan is represented by what they do, from the food to the stories that they tell, and the comfort and fun that they have along the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then ending the exhibit here, we have a highlight of Wildfish Cannery and Matthew Scaletta.
Yeah, so Matthew's in Klawak, and I got to go interview him right in his processing plant there. And there's just so much cool stuff that they're doing there, from the amazing artwork that highlights the history of salmon can labels. So nodding to the history, but bringing in all these new ideas and combinations. Like this one is the garlic and sumac rockfish tin, and they do octopus and all kinds of really interesting and forward-thinking things. Matthew was a chef for a lot of his life, but grew up in the Klawak area with his grandmother, Phyllis, who started this in 1987, I believe. And so yeah, he's combining all of these things to create an industry in this small community that's helping so many people, from the fishermen that maybe couldn't sell this product as the sort of number one, here's a fillet, to putting in a can and making a big difference.
Nice.
And it's delicious.
It is delicious.
Yeah.
One of the exciting aspects of working with Brooke on this exhibit was figuring out, like you had said, how these images play off of each other. Looking at color and size and placement.
Yeah.
So I really like that as you pan across the walls, you can sort of see this play of color.
Yeah.
So there's certain colors that end up like being really prevalent on the waterfront.
Yeah.
You've got greens and blue greens, yellow and orange, rust,
red.
red.
Yeah.
So I really like that flow, and being able to have images that are also popping off the wall to add some depth to the exhibit.
Yeah.
One of the features here with Stormy's canoe as well, the image already looks like it's coming, the canoe is coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
So bumping that up off the wall adds a little bit of layering there too.
More depth to the whole thing, yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. It's been great, Brooke, having you here and working with you on this exhibit, being able to then show everybody the behind the scenes and how we put this together.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been an absolute dream come true. I can't imagine a job that I'm going to love more in the future. So hopefully we can do some more of this sort of thing as we move on. And of course, I would love to hear from the community anytime. And I want to talk about boats all day long.
Absolutely. So even after this exhibit comes down, you'll be able to see this exhibit and the two projects online at ketchikanmuseums.org. You'll be able to see both the first project, history afloat, and voices from the working waterfront.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you.